ॐ स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतारवरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः।
Dear friends, welcome back to the study of the Bhagavad Gita chapter 3, and we have partially completed the study of the 21st of the 21st shloka, and we were to study further. A short bird's eye view of what we have studied before will help us to understand the sequence and the flow of thought that Sri Krishna is developing, teaching us how to convert our natural flow of life into an intense interaction with the awareness of the presence of the divine in our life. Our flow of life transforms into an endless, reverential, respectful, emotional interaction with the awareness of presence of the divine. So this mundane life of ours, which we call as mundane, worldly, this can be, by a little correction of our attitude, a little change in our perspective to life, and little proper understanding of the issues involved in this situation. If we can do that, then Param Apnoti Purusha, here itself a human attains the divinity that is already within him or her. Param Apnoti Purusha. We start from there. Right from the beginning up to the 18th shloka, which we have very many times revised, nonetheless, the main question was made by Arjuna: if, according to you, Krishna, Sthitapragya's Lakshana, as mentioned at the end of the 2nd chapter, is what is the goal of human life, where you manage yourself in such a manner that you don't get involved into this world and you are always ensconced, rigidly placed in the awareness of the majesty, magnificence, regality of your own soul. If that is so, why are you forcing me? Why are you asking me, ordering me to fight this battle, which is horrible? This is how it all started. And he slowly and slowly developed the idea of how we humans live in this world, interact with this world, and how in the process we make a mess of everything and become a victim of circumstances and mood swings. How we can slowly and slowly come out of it, re-educate ourselves, re-discipline ourselves, and by this educative and disciplinary process, how we can reach the sublime goal of being one with the divine. The 18 shlokas have been dedicated to that robust, commonsensical, rational, logical approach. In the 19th shloka, he concludes, Tasmat asaktam satatam karyam karma samachara asakto hi acharan karma param apnoti purusha. Hey, you person in whom that sublime is existing, you, Arjuna, asakta satatam karyam karma samachara. Asaktam, without any attachment to the results of your performance. That is, as I keep on saying you whenever I have to say that, let me make myself an example. Whatever you may say, if I have not thoroughly, properly disciplined myself, the movement of the mind, which is used to get attached to the results of my hard work. I am doing this because I expect this return. For me, I am putting my heart and soul into this study. If I am not watchful, if I am not careful, if I am not alert and aware, because of my past flow of habit, an expectation may come into my mind that my hard work will be rewarded by a total understanding of the theory or principles of Karma Yoga by you all the listeners. If I am not alert, if I am not aware, if I do not have that control on the movement of my mind, because of my past force of habit of living, I will be expecting that you will all understand. So, I am not asakta, I am asakta. That is, I am totally attached to the expectation of the results of my hard work. This is how I've been living throughout this life, before exposed to this idea, maybe in my previous lives. So it's but natural this will happen. Sri Krishna says, now the secret of Karma Yoga is satatam, continuously. Don't be afraid of performing your duties of life. If you do not perform your duties of life, you are a lesser human. You have not evolved yourself from a biological creature to the most enlightened specimen as a human. So sense of duty propels you to perform. And you perform your duties of life. Sri Krishna says, satatam, without any interruption, without any let, without any hindrance, you please continue. Karyam karma, the sense of duty. He is prepared to give you a little license, even your hobbies. Not immoral, unethical, moral, ethical hobbies. Satatam samachara. Samachara means samyak achara. Perform the way I have described to you before, not with your woolly-headed ideas. No, do it the way I have explained you to be done. Asakta hi asaran purusha. If a person, if he has developed this what? Control on his mind, that is mastery on Raja Yoga, management of the movement of your mind, seeing the divine everywhere and interacting with the awareness of presence of the divine every moment of your life, you satatam karma samachara. Asakta hi acharan purusha, a human who has developed this capacity, he will slowly and steadily, correctly and rightfully will be able to achieve the sublime goal. Param apnoti, he will achieve the sublime goal. This is an assurance given by the teacher if you follow his teachings thoroughly, correctly, rightly. With this, the first 19 shlokas of the Gita, with this, the philosophical, rational, intellectual, based on robust common sense, the concept of karma yoga, separated from the concept of karma bhoga, is being established here. But something else remains to be said. Sir, I understand what you say. For my satisfaction, could you give me some concrete, tangible, viable examples in history that people have achieved that? Can you? He will not fail you. Shloka number 20 places before you the life and the teachings and the way the life was conducted by Rajarshi Janaka, Rajarshi Ashwapati, Rajarshi Ashwaghosh. They are facts of history in human civilization and culture. So he says, yes, I have enough for you. Karmana eva hi samsiddhi asthita janaka adaya. Adi is plural adaya. Janak and etc., etc., etc. They are famous in history, and there are thousands of saints and seers who have performed that, and we have achieved that goal. Therefore, let them be your example. Kuru karma tasmatvam. Loka sambrahamevapi sampasyan kartum arhasi. You have to also perform the same pattern of life and living, because you are progressing yourself by following those ideals. At the same time, you are living or setting a wonderful example for other people of the society. Loka sangrahamapi. Loka sangraha means you develop such a character that just watching you, looking at you, people will be inspired to follow that methodology. So, apart from theoretical or rational conclusion, apart from that, there's another objective, that is, you as a perfect specimen of a human being you set an example for all people around you. That is why you should do so. Your life will be an inspiration for others. That is what we do. So Sri Krishna here gives you an example because you wanted to know, is it only a woolly-headed idea, a theoretical concept, a fairy tale, or it has been practicalized and made into a way of life? Do you have an example? He gives you an example. And then he gives you a common saying, a common accepted tradition of the society. Jat jat acharati shreshta tat tad eva itara janaha sajat pramanam kurute lokas tat anuvartate. This is a common thing in human society. What is that? A person who has excelled in an aspect of lifestyle based on proper thinking. And he has excelled in his profession. Generally, people of that profession will look up to him as an example. Oh, that's it. I would like to be like him. I would like to follow his path. I would like to do what he has done in his life so that I can be where he is now today. Whether it is a very, very well-admired footy player, a rugby player, a cricket player, a writer, a political leader, a social thinker. People of those particular profession, they have their hero and they follow the footsteps of the hero. This is common. It's common in human attitude and society. So he is quoting this tradition that, look, Shreshta Purusha, the best specimen in their specific activity, whatever they have attained, the way they have attained is an example. Itara Janaha. Other people who want to reach that goal, they follow it up. So he is now not only rationally explaining to you what is what, he is supporting this with historical evidence and commonplace social attitudes. And finally, dear, he makes himself an example. Who is he? Sri Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. That is what the scriptures analyze. That Sri Krishna is nothing else but divine incarnate. He is born as a human. I'm sorry. He is born as a human. He is born in a particular clan, in a particular family. At that time, he was born in a family of a Kshatriya. And they had a laid duty to perform. There is no escape. What is the duty of a Kshatriya? He is the defender of righteousness. He is the establisher of righteous virtues, fair play, equity, justice in the society. The society must follow the norms and the ways and means that has been laid down by tradition, a hoary tradition. It is Kshatriya's duty to do so. Now, Sri Krishna is born a Kshatriya, a king in his own right. He knows he is God incarnate. He knows that. He knows why he is born, what he has to do, how he has to re-establish the lost values of justice, equity, fair play, propriety, which the Kauravas are trampling under their feet by being a victim of the throne of India, desire to achieve the throne of India. Under all circumstances, they are behaving in an unethical, immoral manner. He being born a Kshatriya, he has to perform his duties to rehabilitate the lost values of religion, equity, fair play, justice. He has no escape. Why? Because he is born as a human in the human society. So he has to play by rules. No avatar has violated the rules of the game. Rather, they have enhanced the necessity to play by rules according to the moving society, a perennial philosophy in a changing world. That is how, right from Treta, Ramachandra, Krishna in Dwapara, and within the domain of history, Abraham, Moses, Jesus, Buddha, Shankara, Ramanuja, they had to arrive because the perennial philosophy was being clouded by the changing value system of the society which moves with time. Just for an example, today's society is so scientifically and technically advanced that we can say that which we cannot demonstrate to our five sense organs in the subtlest and the subtlest form in a laboratory, that we cannot display is not true. Therefore, can you display the presence of God? Therefore, I will say, till I can display it or seen to be displayed somewhere, I am not going to believe in God. I believe in cosmic energy and all that is happening. That there is a supreme intelligence behind all that is a cock and bull story, is a fairy tale. That is what the present day society is. Therefore, it was required that the perennial values of philosophy or values of perennial philosophy has to be re-established in human society. So, an incarnation was required who will convert his personality into a testing laboratory, and all the disciplines of the main religions followed by the whole human society, he took by storm one after the other. And he had the end vision of each and every religion. He proved himself as an experimental laboratory. You wanted a demonstration? Here is a demonstration. Now can you say no? This is what it is. So now Sri Krishna here, this is an example I give of Sri Ramakrishna. And to add a little more, without leaving you half away, today, the human society, because of its technical and scientific progress and advancement, have created so much of complexity that the descent could not be in only one body, one human form. It needed 3 different human forms to meet the challenges of the present day society. By way of example, Sri Ramakrishna converted his Shuddha, Sattvic, Bhagavati Tanu, his body which was absolutely pure. Each and every cell of his body was surcharged by the awareness of presence of God, who he is. And you see and read his biography. I need not tell you that. And the concept of motherhood of the divine has ended with the Puranic tales. Devi Suktam, and we find women folk had been treated very, very nastily by the human society. If you can think of fatherhood of the divine, what stops you from thinking of the motherhood of the divine? All religions prevalent before Sri Ramakrishna's advent, fatherhood of the divine. Even though Mary, the mother, was selected by the divine to have her own child, to bear his child, Jesus, but she was a special lady, adored lady, mother of God, not motherhood of divinity. That slight difference there. However respected she may be, she had no authority to liberate her children. She has to go to her son to plead for her children. What a way of thinking. But it was almost near. Here, what is that concept of motherhood of the divine? If that motherhood is in flesh and blood, like an illiterate, ordinary village woman, without any ado, without any glamour, without anything that is attractive, but the sweetness of the personality, the divine personality. That is why he had to take the form of the Holy Mother. One descent. And to teach the whole human society, you need a little ego of a teacher. That ego could not be harbored in these 2 bodies. So a 3rd human form was required, where he could speak to the whole world, and he prophesied in his own words, Noren Lokshikha Dibe, Noren Desh Bideshe Hak Padve. typical village colloquial Bengali. Knowledge will be the teacher of humankind. Naren loka shikha dibe. Loka means humankind, shikha is educate. Naren will educate the whole humanity. And Naren desh videshe, inland and overland. That is overseas and inland. Haq padbe. He will speak in a stentorian voice so that he will attract people to listen to it. So this is the speciality of the incarnation of the present age. That to meet the complexities of the present day society, 3 different forms had to be assumed by the same divine. In 3 different forms, the motherhood of the divinity, the establisher of the lost veracity, lost faith, lost relevance, the lost truth of religion and spirituality is embodied in Sri Ramakrishna, and the message was carried all over the world by Sri Ram. To complete, when the work was over, Swami Vivekananda felt he was dragging him along throughout the world and make him speak, he has deserted him. And he told the Holy Mother's disciple, Gulapma, that he who was driving me has left me. My work is over. I am now going to be gathered to him. And he passed away. All this is recorded history, recorded in their lifetime. The question of things being interpolated into it doesn't arise. Coming back to the subject. Now, Sri Krishna, having convinced you rationally, based on robust common sense, and then quoting an example that it is a possibility, it is achievable, attainable, doable, performable, and he quotes from history, Janaka and others. Then he says, this is the way the society goes. And you, Arjuna, you behave in such a manner that you set an example to other people. Running away from your duties is no example to be set. All of us are prepared to do so. You must teach the world by your own lifetime how to fulfill your most horrendous duties of life, to carry on a warfare. But you do it as an example, how to do it on asakta. That is it. Tatha asakta. That is, without any asakti, you do it. Now he makes himself an example. Let me read the shloka for you. Name parthasti kartavyam trishu lokeshu kinchanaha nan avaptam baptavyam varta evacha karmani. Look at me, Arjuna. I know who I am. I am incarnated as a human, but I know I am the Lord God of the universe. Therefore, there is nothing that I could achieve to fulfill myself, or there is nothing which is not achievable to me. There's a way of expression. So he says, look at me. I have no axe to grind. I have nothing to achieve. And there is nothing which is not achievable by me. But Bharta eva cha karmani. I am continuing my duties of life. Though he is a Kshatriya from the human point of view, but he is God incarnate. So he has a total integrated responsibility to set the ball rolling again. Rolling, equitable, fair play, justice. That is why, Arjuna, I appear to be so involved. The involvement is there, but expectation is not there. Remember these two words. I have to do something. I do it as a pursuer of correctness, pursuer of thoroughness, pursuer of perfection, excellence. That is my involvement. And that is a must. There is no compromise on it. But what you must be care of, do it, expect nothing, and offer it with all humility and modesty to God. Karma Yoga. And that becomes a way of life. So Sri Krishna is making an example of himself. That there is nothing that I have to achieve in this world. I have no axe to grind. Sa prayojana abhava opi san. He has no axe to grind. He has nothing to achieve, or there is anything in the world which is not achievable to him. Even then, he is continuing to perform his duties with total involvement. And he is aware he is not attached. He doesn't have any expectation. And he tells you, if he does not do so, what happens to the world? Whether the scientists believe it or not is immaterial. We are studying a subject which has logically come to a conclusion. There is a supreme being. Supreme being, Shara Bhaga Sampanna Bhagavan. Shara Bhaga. 6 excellences. Bala Birja, Jnana Aishwarja, Jnana Aishwarja, Bala Birja, Teja Shakti Sampanna, Shadaguna Sampanna, Ishvara. That is the definition of Parameshwara, Ishvara, who has these 6 excellences as his part and parcel of his being, not a quality. It is he made of that. The supreme intelligence, the supreme power, supreme in everything that you ultimately see in this cosmos. And he manages it without any expectation but total involvement. And then in the next shloka he says, if I do not do so, what will happen? He says, Jadi aham na varteyam jatu tishtat karmani atandritaha mama vartvanu vartante manushya partha sarvasha. if I do not set an example myself, then people will emulate me, because I am supposed to be an excellent specimen of a human being. That is what I am. If I do not continue to run the whole show, then what will be the result? People would say, God is snoring away. He is doing nothing. Why should I? If you swear by God, if you swear by the example set by an avatara, and that avatara is doing nothing, why should I then? This is the essence of this sloka. He says, Jadi iham na varteyam jatu karmani atanrita. Without even blinking my eyes, without going for a short nap, without blinking my eyes, without being drowsy or inattentive, if I do not perform my duties with these qualities, mama bhartanu bhartante manusha he partha sarvasa, from all points of view. Therefore, I have to continue to work with a total involvement, but without any attachment. And I don't need to be attached, because there is nothing that is not mine, or there is nothing that is yet to be acquired by me. I have everything under my control. This is how Sri Krishna is explaining to us that what is the duty of an avatar. And now, right from the beginning, say Rama, Krishna, Abraham, Moses, Buddha, Christ, Shankara, Ramanuja, carry on. Sri Ramakrishna, Swamiji, Guru Maharaj, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Have you found any of the incarnations taking life easy and snoring away and doing nothing? Could you quote a single person? The whole cosmos is being run by the Supreme Intelligence, whose intelligence, one of his, I would say, how do I put it, Aishwarya Bhaga, that is his own being, 6 of them, Jnana, Aishwarya, Bala, Birja, Teja, Shakti. He's made up of that. It's not his guna. That is his excellence. With that, he runs the show. And next he says, what happens if he does not do so? What he is doing, he is saying now. Sorry. What will happen if he stops doing so? Utsideu rime loka na kurjang karma chetaham shankarasya cha kartasyam upahamyam ima praja. Now, let us look at it from a very commonsensical point of view. Though we say it is natural, it happens automatically. To say it happens automatically, it is natural, excuse my language, dear, it is bankruptcy of your intellect to stop somewhere and say, oh, it happens. When you come to that stage and say, oh, it happens, what you are declaring is the bankruptcy of your intellect. You are unable to go further and you just say, oh, it happens. In our scriptures, bankruptcy of intellect is not acceptable. It is not acceptable. You must reach to a conclusion. What he is saying now in this shloka, Utsideyur ime loka. Let us look at it from common sense point of view. Just imagine what happens if the sun doesn't rise one day. Just imagine what will happen if the ocean breaks its shores. Just imagine where there is no water to quench fire. Just imagine. It may appear to be a cock and bull story. It may appear to be a fairy tale. But I will ask you, please extend your imagination and think of a day when the sun does not rise. The whole solar system will be deprived of that solar energy, and the whole cosmos will be in a pandemonium. Utsideyu, this is the meaning of the word, Utsadana. The whole cosmos will go haywire, nothing to control. That will what happen to you if I stop controlling the whole world. Utsideyur ime loka. The whole cosmos will be in a pandemonium, will go towards total desolation, destruction. Na kurjat karya chet aham. If I stop performing my duties of life. Na kurjat karya chet aham. If, chet means if. The whole world will head towards destruction. Upahamyana Shankarasya karta syam. And everything we find here in this world has a compartment. And they are all integrated with each other, though they are different. Say, for instance, principles of nature. They all have different areas, different fields. But there is a force which is integrating all of them. Upahamyamima praja Shankarasya cha kartacha. I will be responsible for all this happening. So this is what I am. This is what a perfect karma yogi is. That is total involvement with responsibility. This is my duty. Each one have a sense of duty. We perform that duty how? With total involvement, with an attitude of correctness, thoroughness, perfection, excellence. That is the involvement part of it. And be aware, don't expect any return. So, dears, we have come to the end of the 24th shloka, where having theoretically established the concept of karma yoga, that's the concept of egocentric work, how that egocentric work can be converted into a worship of the divine by the fifth dimension: physical involvement, emotional involvement, rational involvement, egoistic involvement. They go to define what activity is or what activity involves. How could that be converted into worship, work and worship? Work is worship, and then the concept of work disappears. Life becomes an endless worship of the divine. This is the essence of Karma Yoga. He has explained that. Then he has explained about the social thinking, social behavior pattern. We are all hero worshippers. So you be a hero to the society. Set an example. And then he sets himself as an example. And we have finished up to that. Now, 2 more shlokas left, and then the subject will change. 2 more shlokas left. How now the secret, as in the 19th shloka he said, Tasmat asakta satatam karjam karma samachara. Here he says, Kurmani avidyangsha jata karma. So as a person attached performs his duties, you do so without attachment but involvement. That is the next shloka. Thank you, dears. Thank you ever so much for your attention and your time. We will start on the 25th shloka again.
Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.